All right, so today we're talking about heart rate and exercise. So, our agenda for the day, we're going to talk about heart rate and what it means. We're going to talk about the function of the heart. We're going to do a group work activity. And then we're going to do a personal heart rate exercise activity. So, what is a heart rate? What was that? How fast your heart is beating. So how do we calculate it?
You're 80.
So that's max heart rate. We're going to talk about that. But like just a regular heart rate. You said beats per minute?
How many beats how many beats? How many heartbeats?
Exactly. So if you feel your heart, it's right below your left chest area. You'll feel it beating. So the BPM is going to be amount of time it pumps per minute. Very good. It's also could be called our pulse rate. So the function of our heart. What is the function of our heart? Daniel?
It supplies blood.
Yes.
The rest of your body, I don't know.
Blood and nutrients
Oxygen.
and oxygen. So if you think about it, what would you say is one of the most important parts of the body? The heart, and what's the other?
Brain.
Heart and the brain. So without these two organs, our body really can't function. We wouldn't be alive without either organ. So it's important that we're taking care of our heart and we're learning about how to exercise to make our heart healthy. So we're going to take a look at some statistics about heart disease. So according to the CDC, heart disease is the leading cause of death for men, women, and people of most racial and ethnic groups. So, according to the CDC, one person every 34 seconds dies from heart disease. And it accounts for 1 in every 5 deaths. So if we think about it, there's so many different ways that we could die. Having heart disease be the leading cause of death is kind of alarming, especially the fact that it happens once every 30 seconds. What do we think about these statistics?
Great.
It is crazy.
Wow.
What do you think, Bryson?
I think it's crazy, yeah. I mean, every 40 seconds is the same.
Right? To think about, and then it says, in the United States, every 40 seconds someone has a heart attack. Now that doesn't necessarily mean they die of heart disease, but their heart is stopping. So we want to think about how to avoid this. Because if it's the leading cause of death, there's something that's wrong and something that isn't happening. So this is just a breakdown of each ethnic group of heart disease. And we kind of could look at it and see kind of across the board, it's around 20% of deaths occur due to heart disease. So this is affecting everyone, and it's affecting all of us pretty severely. So how do we think we can deal with this issue?
Blood flow?
Food, blood flow. So what do you mean by blood flow?
Like, the heart needs the blood to pump, so we keep it pumping.
So make the blood flow a bit. How can we do that? What do we think, Gio?
I guess we can kind of keep track of it and do some like moving activities in order to keep the blood flowing like that.
Good, yeah, so moving the body, kind of training the heart to function a little better. So good, we said diet and exercise. It's pretty much the two main ones that we can control, right? Because a lot of sometimes disease is out of our control, but there are things we can control. So we said aerobic exercise is going to be the main target of how to get the heart healthier. So physical activity that increases the heart rate and the body's use of oxygen is what is considered aerobic exercise. So who can name some of the forms of aerobic exercise or cardio exercise? Who do you think, Henry?
Running.
Running, that's a very common one. Daniel? Biking?
Swimming.
Swimming. Good, so basically anything that's gonna elevate the heart rate into a certain zone, which we're gonna talk about in a bit, is considered aerobic exercise. So it could be dancing, kickboxing, swimming. We said even brisk walking is considered a form of aerobic exercise. So it's recommended to get at least 150 minutes per week of moderate aerobic exercise. So how long is that? 150 minutes a week.
Like 3 hours, 2 hours?
Roughly 2 hours, a little more than 2 hours. So you think about how you plan your week. If you're only going to dedicate, let's say 4 days to exercise, you could get away with like 30 to 40 minutes for 4 days a week. So it's really not that much when you think about it. So we're going to watch a video about how the heart is affected through exercise.
Regular physical activity can lower your risk of heart and circulatory disease by 35%. When you are active, the heat produced by your muscles increases your body temperature, making you feel warmer. Your heart starts to beat faster, pumping more blood to the muscles you are using. Your heart is also a muscle. If you are active regularly, it gets bigger and stronger. Your muscles are working harder, so they need more oxygen. You start to breathe faster, so your blood can pick up more oxygen from your lungs. Your lungs work harder to make this happen. Once your blood has picked up oxygen, it moves the muscles you are using, giving them the extra oxygen they need. If you are active regularly, more capillaries grow in the muscles you've been working. This is one reason why activity starts to feel easier over time. Getting active is great for people with diabetes. If you have type 2 diabetes, you have too much glucose in your blood, probably because you don't have enough insulin. Physical activity helps you use the insulin you do have. It also helps your cells use glucose, even when there is no insulin. Regular physical activity can improve your memory and attention span. Over time, the bit of the brain involved in memory and learning seems to get bigger. Long-term physical activity leads to a lower resting heart rate and lower blood pressure. This helps cut your risk of heart and circulatory disease. And there are more reasons to smile. When you're active, your brain produces chemicals called endorphins. These reduce feelings of pain and make you feel more positive. Getting active cuts down on stress hormones, reducing anxiety. Combine activity with a balanced diet and you'll help yourself reach and maintain a healthy weight.
So those are the two things we mentioned, activity and diet. So in the video they spoke about a lower resting heart rate being tied to lower risk of heart disease. Why do you think that is? So lower rest, so we talked about what a heart rate is, right? The amount of times your heart beats per minute. So why would a lower resting heart rate be associated with lower chance of heart disease?
Because you're using it less.
Exactly. So it's less stress on the heart. So if it's constantly beating, it's working harder. The lower the resting heart rate, the less work it's doing. So these are different zones of exercise, of aerobic exercise. So when we think about what our max heart rate is, that's what the percentages are based off of. So you see 90 to 100 of your max heart rate in the effort column. Zone 3 would be 70 to 80% of your max heart rate. So how do we calculate that? We get 220, the number 220, and we subtract our age from it. That's going to give us our max heart rate. So what is max heart rate, Daniel? Max heart rate.
The max amount of times your heart can beat in a minute.
Exactly. So whatever your highest BPM, pretty much, the highest beats per minute. So right now, I want you guys to head to classroom, and there's going to be a assignment called heart rate activity. So we're going to use the heart rate calculators. So I'm going to pass them around, and we'll get into groups. So Daniel and Henry, you guys can work together. Ken, if you want to move over to that side. Bryson, Christian.
Why are we always teammates? My enemies in real life.
So, the way we use this is you put it on your finger, your pointer finger, and you click the power button. So now there's going to be a bunch of numbers and things that pop up. You're looking for the one on, it should be on the left, that says BPM PR. So that is going to be your resting heart rate. Now you're going to put that number into the assignment on Classroom, and along with your max heart rate. So we said max heart rate is what? How do we calculate that, Christian? How do I calculate my maximum heart rate?
Check our age from 20.
Yes, so whatever your age is, from 220. For me,
What are ages from 20?
220 minus your age is going to be your max heart rate. So for me, that would be, let's say I'm 20 years old. My max heart rate would be 200. 220?
So my max heart rate is 22.
202. Now, this is a rough estimate. It's not specific. When we talk about heart rate, you know, it's very individualized. There's different ranges. Everyone's body is different, but there's kind of just certain numbers. Like, so this, yeah, this is an estimate.
What is it? 80.
Resting?
Resting.
So that would be your resting heart rate for number 2.
Yeah, 80.
All right. And then your max would be whatever your max is. However old it is. So you're going to put that into Classroom, and don't submit it yet because we're going to come back to that. So 220 minus your age. So you should use that to calculate.
I know my high school is down for this every time.
Mr. Marco,
Yes. All right, so we got our 2 numbers? Good. We're gonna come back to that document, so don't turn it in just yet. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna stay in our groups, and we're going to read an article. So each group is gonna be assigned a different article. So Bryce and Christian, group 1. Daniel and Henry, you guys are gonna be group 2. And then over here is group 3. So on Classroom, you should see an assignment called Padlet. You're gonna click that link. You have your laptop? So we're gonna take a look at an article. So now I have printout copies if anyone would prefer. Or would you rather work on, so the group 1? Group 2. Oh, wait.
It's not.
That's group. You guys. All right, so you can take some time to read these. For group 1, you guys only read up until where it says how to determine your target heart rate zone on the back of the 2nd page. That's where you guys are gonna stop. Alright, so as you're reading, the questions you're gonna be answering and thinking about is the main idea of the text. You're gonna either highlight or circle 3 facts you found interesting from the article, and then you're gonna think about how you're gonna use this information in your daily life. No, so that's just a error. You're gonna stop it. All right, so we got about 5 minutes left. So if you want to head over to the Padlet and put your answers to the question. So it's going to be 1, the main idea. Then you're going to have 3 interesting facts from your article. And then you're going to think about how you're going to use this information in your daily life.
I'm going first. What are you doing?
So
Before I add the context, is that text question?
yes.
And I do already what they put right here.
Yeah, so you're going to say,
Because right here.
what do you think the main idea of this is?
This is, can you see?
So what just right, what would you say? What is it talking about also?
It talks about knowing your, like, I guess, comfortable heart rate.
So knowing where you should aim for. One, so you can say the main idea of the text is to figure out your heart rate should be low. Perfect. So then, yeah, then after you, so that's your main idea, then you can just go and look whatever you found interesting. So at this page, the page of the video, this is really good. This is moderate versus vigorous. What are you doing over here? All right, so we've got about a minute left, so let's wrap up our answers and turn in our work on our Padlet. All right. Group 1. Who would like to share your findings?
I'll check it.
All right, thank you, Christian.
So I said, what do I do?
No worries.
Okay. Alright, so I said the main idea of the article is to show the benefits you get from exercising and helping you get to that track.
Okay, good.
And for the 3 facts that I chose was, fact 1, the more intense or longer your activity is, the more calories you burn. Second fact is, if you're getting your max heart rate faster tracking your age from 20 to 20.
Okay.
And fact 3, the more intense your workout is, the more slow you're getting.
The more what?
The more slow you're getting.
The more sore. Okay, very good. Yeah, so this article mostly is about, measuring the intensity of our exercise, like you said, like tracking, is it gonna be a moderate exercise or a vigorous exercise? So, I think an important part of this is, so we said it's recommended to get at least 150 minutes a week of moderate aerobic activity. And in the article, it mentions that moderate is gonna be from 50 to 70% of your max heart rate. So we figured out how to calculate our max. Let's say it's about 200. So now 50% of 200 is 100. 70% of 200 is, I'm not sure. Someone calculate that? 70% of 200. So how would we do that? 200 times 0.7, very good.
60. Right? Or do you mean 140?
140. Yes, you would subtract the 60 from it.
I didn't know if you want that.
Good, so 140, so you would say anywhere from 100 to 140 beats a minute would be, that target range of where you're gonna spend most of your time. Very good, thank you for sharing. Group 2. So, what was our main idea?
You should be aiming for a lower heart rate.
So the main idea is gonna be what target, where you want your heart rate to be?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what are some facts to support that? What are some interesting facts from the article?
You want all 3?
Give me one of them.
The lower the heart rate, the better.
Lower the better. So yes, we discussed about how the less your heart is working, the less stress you're putting on your heart. What do you think about the zones? So this article gives us the target heart rate zone of the age groups. So right there, I guess we could go all based off of the 20-year-old. So we said it gives us our max and it gives us our target heart rate. Yes, use it. So like we said, 100 to 170 beats per minute. Good. And Henry, what about one fact you got from the article? What would you say? What do you think, Henry?
About what?
The one interesting fact from the article.
Where is it?
So if you look at the second page, we're on the back of the first page. So we talked about, it says when it comes to resting heart rate, lower is better. So why do we think that is?
Because I guess like you don't want your heart rate your heart rate being too fast.
Exactly. So why wouldn't you want to be too fast? What is it doing?
Running.
It's running. It's working. It's working overtime. You don't want it to put any more stress on your heart than you do already. Very good. Thank you. All right. Group 3. Gio, you want to share for your group?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
The main idea would be how to regulate heart rate. And 3 interesting facts that I found.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the main idea?
That how to regulate heart rate.
How to regulate it. Okay, good.
And 3 interesting facts I found is that you need to slowly build up to a certain heart rate.
Good.
And certain age groups have different, higher BPMs.
Yep.
And faster pulse doesn't mean you have higher blood pressure.
Very good. So yeah, like you said, everyone's heart rate is different for them. It even goes based off of gender too, will affect what kind of target heart rate you want to be in. Very good. So this one is going to also detail, how to take your pulse. We have the heart rate monitors. If you have an Apple Watch that's constantly tracking your heart rate, or you could do right here, kind of your neck area, the insides of your elbow, or the insides of your wrist. Now this is going to be a little more inaccurate because it's just going to be human error in counting. You got to set a timer. That's why I like the heart rate monitors. So, very good. Thank you all for sharing. So we're going to go back to our initial Google assignment on Classroom, the heart rate activity, where we took those two numbers down. So we should go back to that. Let's open that up. So that's going to be under your heart rate activity. So, I want everyone to stand up. We're going to stand up at the top of our mat. So Daniel and Henry, Christian, you have one? So Christian and Bryson, you're in the group. Bathroom, yes. So Bryson, here, grab this one.
I have one.
You have one? Christian, you have one too?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so Gio, when you get back.
Yeah.
All right, so stand at the top of our mat. So we took down, we should have two numbers in that heart rate activity. Resting and max. So now we're gonna figure out what our heart rate is after doing a little movement. So we're gonna do 3 sets of 30 jumping jacks. I said 30 seconds rest, we're gonna do 15 seconds rest in between sets. We're gonna try to get that heart rate up a little more.
Gotcha.
So, immediately after you complete your sets, I want you to take that heart rate again. And we're gonna figure out what zone we've entered and what percentage of our max heart rate we're in. So, we're gonna get to the top of our mat and we're gonna start doing our jumping jacks.
You tell us what.
1, 2, yeah, take your time, tie your shorts if you need to. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
You lucky fellas.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right, good. We're going to take our rest. Very good, very good. Three, because we got to get it elevated as much as possible. Take a little breath, get comfortable. Good, good. Keep that heart rate monitor handy because when we take it right after, we're going to take that heart rate. You ready for our next set? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, good. One more set. One more set. So heart rate now should feel it getting a little more elevated. All right, let's get back. Last set, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Very good. All right, pop that monitor on and let's get a heart rate reading. Let's see where we're at. So remember, it's the one that is BPM-R. So you want to get that one. It should be on the left. So It should be above 100. Right now mine's 126. So that's gonna be your third number. So in heart rate activity, you should have three numbers: resting, max, and exercise. So what do we think about these three different numbers? What do you think, Christian?
It's not really accurate with the two. I mean, depends how much work you have to do to bring your heart rate to 202. That's not fast.
Well, think about the maximum your exercise your body could tolerate. So let's picture like if a lion was chasing you. You probably get up to close to 200.
My heart rate went down.
Yeah, my shit, wow.
Let me see.
It was 74 before, now it's 40.
40.
My shit's like
Take it
90-something.
take it off and put it on. Take it on and put it on.
It's 30, it says 38.
Oh, my shit went to 89.
Yeah, take it off and put it on a different finger or like reset it. Like hit the power button and
40.
yeah, that's it should be somewhere in the hundreds. So if you think about it, we entered the I would say moderate
Okay, I
area.
got it. Mine's 128.
There you go. So we said that was going to be 50 to 70% of your heart rate. So it's kind of zone 2 and zone 3 is where we just got to. So that little movement activity we did is going to place you in those two zones where you're going to be building up the strength for your heart. What do you think about the two different numbers, Daniel?
What?
What do you think about those two different numbers? So you have your resting, your exercise, and then your max. How does it feel? How does it feel to be in that zone of zone 2 and 3? I mean, it wasn't like a crazy workout, right?
No.
It was just some form of movement. So that's pretty much all it takes is some form of movement for, we said, 2 hours a week, like 2 hours and 30 minutes a week. And that's how you keep your heart healthy. All right, so turn that assignment in on Classroom. Should have 3 different numbers. And you guys are free to go. Thank you and have a great day.